Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Power Rangers, Season 1, Episode 19 of my show, but this is going to be about Episode 22. Now, before I actually start talking about it, I just want to mention something very quickly. I'm sorry I didn't upload any videos last week. But there was a kind of a good reason for why I didn't. You see, the week before last week, I just finished uploading that hour-long Power Ranger video, which was episode 18 of my show, but it covered episodes 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. So it covered all 5 parts. And like I told you guys before, what I was going to do was if I got to a part in any Power Ranger series where I got to a part that was in a series where it was over a 2 or 3 part episode, like a 4 or 5 part episode previously, I would upload it and then take a week off from uploading, dependent on when the upload finishes. I just thought I'd mention that again because I'm going to be doing that when I get to Season 3 of Mighty Morphin, so, because there's a 4-part episode in it. But anyway, enough getting off topic. This is History of Power Rangers, Season 1, Episode 19 of my show, but this is about Episode 22. And like I said, the reason why I say that is because the previous video I did, was episode 18 of my show, but it covered episodes 17 through 21. Okay, so I just thought I'd get that out of the way there. Anyway, this episode is called The Trouble with Shellshock. And basically, the way this episode starts off is the Rangers, who at this point also include Tommy's character, they're having a little bit of a basketball game, and then basically Zach beats Jason in basketball in the episode, and then he takes on Billy, and after that, well, actually, what happens is, apparently they had a bet where it said loser buys lunch, and then Zach beats him, and then he makes a restaurant kind of joke about waiter. He says, waiter, you'll take the check. And then Billy challenges him to the basketball game as well. And Zach says that he can't because he couldn't do that to them. And then Billy says that the stakes is the loser buys lunch for 2. Oh, I'm getting off topic. I'm getting too far ahead. I'm sorry. Anyway. Well, they are playing basketball in the episode, and then they are playing basketball in the episode, and then what happens is Squatt is looking off in the distance, and he's got this little giggle on, and he says that the Rangers seem really distracted and because of the basketball game, and they won't know what to do because of the fact that they'll be so busy and stuff. He thinks that the Rangers won't stand a chance against the new monster that he and Baboo are creating. Because they're creating a monster to eliminate the Power Rangers as part of a surprise for Rita kind of thing. And this is going to sound kind of funny, but the monster they create is a turtle-based monster. But I'll explain more about it after when I get into it. Anyway, then it goes back onto Rita's palace, and Rita's taking a nap on the moon on her palace, And then basically what happens is, first what happens is, before it goes to that point, what happens is basically, Bulk and Skull cause another bit of a ruckus. Let's see. After Squatt leaves, they go to, the Power Rangers go to have lunch, and then Bulk and Skull try to bully them again, and then basically, what I mean by bully them is they want them to get off the floor because it's their turn to use it, and then they cause a bit of a ruckus with the hot dog cart. Oh my god. Oh yeah, I should mention, because I made the previous video an hour long, I might make this video a little shorter than my previous ones. Just this once, because the previous video I did before this one was like an hour long. So, I'm just getting off topic. I wanted to mention that ahead of time. So if it seems like I'm kind of rushing this, it's nothing to do with how late it is in the day. It's just because the previous video I did 2 weeks ago was like an hour long. So I really want to make like a shorter one this time around. But this is going to be the only exception video. The next time it'll definitely be like over a couple of minutes longer than this one. I just thought I'd get that out of the way before I continued. And anyway, getting back into it. After they caused the ruckus with the hot dog cart, the guy who runs the cart is asking Bulk if he's gonna pay for all of that. And then Bulk is asking Skull if he's got any money. And apparently Skull doesn't have any money. And here's the funny thing about it. After they crashed into it, the Rangers were trying to have a kind of a lunch, like take a break from the basketball stuff. And basically what happens is, as I said, Bulk and Skull caused a bit of a ruckus. Now the reason why I mentioned that is because one of the hot dogs Zach orders is a hot dog with everything on it, like, you know, like mustard, ketchup, that kind of stuff. And when Bulk and Skull caused a bit of a ruckus, they oh my god, I'm sorry, but after they caused a bit of a ruckus afterward, a lot of the hot dog stuff, like the condiments and all this stuff, falls on them, and Zach makes a little bit of a joke about that, saying, now that's what I call hot dog with everything on it. And like I said, the hot dog vendor is telling them that they gotta pay for that. What happens before that? What happens is when Bulk and Skull show up first. I'm kind of skipping ahead. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm skipping ahead, but I haven't done a video in over a week, so if I sound a little stuttery when I do this video, I apologize. It's because I haven't done a video in over a week. But anyway, getting back into it. Like I was saying, after they caused the ruckus with the hot dog cart, oh my god, the hot dog vendor guy tries to have them pay for it, but they don't have any money. So the hot dog vendor, he has them work for him, and he says he bets it'll take them 2 weeks to pay off what he owes them, and he's gonna be watching them. And then they get back to the basketball game, and then it goes back to where Squatt and Baboo are. They're on the moon. Rita's having a little nap. And basically what happens is, Squatt and Baboo sneak over to the monster matic so they can make their monster. And then Squatt makes a noise, but he doesn't want, but then Baboo tries to quiet him because they want it to be a complete surprise for Rita kind of thing. And then Baboo's like I said, Baboo is telling Squatt to be quiet because he wants it to be like a total surprise for Rita. And Squatt basically says that he's like, I don't think you have to worry about Rita. If her snores don't wake her up, nothing will. Oh my god. And then basically what happens is Squatt is then asking Baboo what kind of monster they're gonna make because he's curious. And basically what happens is he says some things about the monster that it'll be better than anything Finster's ever made, and then he shows them this putty, like this clay molding of basically like a turtle, and he puts this miniature traffic light in the clay. Oh my god! And then Squatt is basically, he's like, what are we gonna do with a clay turtle with a traffic light sticking out of its head? And he says that, and Baboo tells Squatt that they're gonna be able to use the turtle to defeat the Power Rangers as a bit of a surprise for Rita and stuff. And then he goes to put it in the monster-matic. Well, actually, before he shows Squatt the monster, he does a little bit of boasting as to what the monster, like he kind of does a little bit of gloating by saying that it's better than anything Finster ever made and stuff. And then, like I said, he shows him the clay turtle, and then he puts this like miniature traffic light in it. And then basically, what happens after that is Squatt wonders, what are they gonna do with the clay turtle with a traffic light sticking out of its head? And he said that they're gonna use it. Baboo says that they're gonna use it to destroy the Power Rangers. And he goes to put it in the monster-matic, but Squatt stops him because they can't put him in yet because they gotta give him some weapons to fight with. So Squatt goes into his bag to pull out some stuff to put in with the monster for it to use as weapons. And they're wondering what to name the monster. Well, Squatt is wondering what they should name the monster, and Baboo says he's thinking about naming it Greta or maybe P-Touche. Oh my god. Now this is gonna kind of explain why the episode is called that. Because Squatt is the one that comes up with the name for the monster. He calls it Shellshock, which kind of makes sense because this episode is called The Trouble with Shellshock, so that kind of makes sense. And Baboo says that Shellshock, you know what, I like it, and then he puts the Shellshock monster in the monster-matic, and it comes out. Oh, and when the monster-matic is making a noise, is Rita kind of wakes up from her sleep because she's taking a little bit of a nap, and she doesn't know that Squatt and Baboo had created a monster. And then basically what happens is, after the Shellshock monster is created, Squatt says for them to send down the putty patrol to soften the Rangers up for Shellshock. And then they send the putties down to Earth, and then the Rangers start fighting the putties afterward. And then basically what happens is, after that, after they start fighting the putties, and after the putties are defeated, Tommy leaves because he's got a karate match that he had to go to. What happens first is, what happens first is Squatt and Baboo are disappointed that they lost with the putties to the Power Rangers, and then Baboo is telling Squatt to tell him that that didn't happen, and Squatt says that he'll tell him it didn't happen, but it did, and then Baboo says that he really hates those Power Rangers, and then Squatt basically tells them that let's send down Shellshock, so they send him down, and then going back into it with the Rangers, then basically what happens is, well, actually, first what happens, this is the one part of the episode I don't understand. At the beginning when they, when they send the monster down to Earth, they're on Earth, and then they tell the Shellshock monster about the Power Rangers, and then, well, actually, after, the putties are defeated, they go down to Earth again, and Baboo and Squatt try to explain to Shellshock about the Power Rangers, and Baboo is Squatt is basically telling the Shellshock monster that he wants to have them destroyed with his traffic lights, but then Baboo is saying that first he wants Shellshock to weaken the Power Rangers using a stoplight, using his freeze ray kind of thing, because he's got that traffic light thing on the top. Now that I mentioned about the traffic light, I'm just going to mention something. I don't know what the yellow traffic signal thing does, but I do know what the red and green ones do. If you guys know from traffic lights, I'm sorry, I have to get a little bit of technical sense here out of the way. You know how with vehicles, when there's a red light, you're supposed to stop at a red light? Well, in this case, the red light on the traffic light that is inside Shellshock is actually a stoplight, but it's also a freeze ray. And the green light is the go beam, which once it hits, it causes someone to run fast and stuff. And then afterward, I'm sorry, I had to get a little bit of technical information out there because of the stoplight thing in its head, like in its creation and stuff. I just thought I'd get it out of the way there. Anyway, continuing on, Shellshock uses the go beam, which causes the basketball that the Rangers were playing with to explode. Well, and then basically what happens is after that the Rangers morph into their Ranger forms. But after they morph, Trini gets hit with the green go light ray from Shellshock's street light thing on top of him, which causes her to constantly run. And that's after they morph. And I believe Tommy's with them fighting for this part of the episode. And then basically what happens is after that, after Trini is hit by the stoplight freeze ray, after Trini's hit with the go beam, which causes her to run frequently. Then Shellshock hits the other Rangers with his stoplight freeze ray, which stops them in their tracks. And then afterward, Baboo and Squatt escape after their monster gets a little beaten up by the Red Ranger and Green Rangers a bit. And then Zordon, and then they teleport back to the command center, and then because after that, Squatt and Baboo leave, and then Baboo, as Squatt wonders, he asks Baboo why they left, and Baboo basically says that they can't take any more chances, no, and then Goldar basically finds out that they created a monster without Rita's permission, and he gets kind of mad, but then Baboo tries to reassure Goldar that it was actually technically the first time they ever won a battle, which kind of makes sense because they kind of had to retreat. And then after Rita finds out that their monster was able to defeat the Power Rangers, she says that she's impressed. And anyway, getting back into it, when they're back in the command center, Alpha is using some kind of scanner to analyze them. Billy, Zach, and Kimberly. And he says that it's not good because Shellshock used his stoplight freeze ray on them. He tells Jason that it's no good because Shellshock used his stoplight freeze ray on them, and to him there's no known cure, but Zordon reassures Alpha that there is a way to free them from Shellshock's stoplight freeze spell, and it's by using a special flower known as the Deandra, which is in a mountainous area. And then he tells Jason that he sent Trini to fetch it, and then basically afterward, Rita uses her magic wand to make the Shellshock monster grow, and then basically what happens after that is when they find out that the Shellshock monster is trashing the city, Jason makes a battle plan for him to hold off. And this is actually going to sound kind of funny, but in the episode, after that, after the Shellshock monster has grown to full size, like to giant size, he makes a joke about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, having them see what a full-grown turtle can do and stuff. That's kind of a reference to another series. I thought I'd get that out of the way there. Anyway, continuing on with what I was saying, after they find out that the Shellshock monster is trashing the city, they make a battle plan where Jason goes to hold off the Shellshock monster with Tommy, at least until Trini can get her hands on the Deandra flower, and then basically, doing so, they manage to, Jason goes in the Tyrannosaurus, but without the other Rangers, he can't form the Megazord. And basically what happens is Tommy aids him with the help of his Dragon Zord, which he summons with the Dragon Dagger. And basically, while they're holding the Shellshock monster off, Trini is still running because of the Go Beam to get the Deandra flower, and then afterward, Zordon is speaking to her, telling her that to use the saber-toothed tiger to guide her to the Deandra flowers, and then she gets her hands on the flowers, and then basically what happens is after that, Basically what happens after that is, she manages to get back to where the Shellshock monster is, and she uses the pollen from the Deandra flower to weaken Shellshock and stop his stoplight freeze ray. And then Zach, Kimberly, and Billy are unfrozen, and they're wondering what's happened. And then Zordon explains that Rita's monster, Shellshock, had froze them with his stoplight ray. Cheney had to go find the Deandra flower in order to release them from the spell. And then basically what happens is they go to help Jason fight the Shellshock monster, and they manage to defeat it. And then after they defeat it, Rita gets a little upset with Squatt Baboo because they told her that monster was undefeatable, and she calls them dunces, and she should have her head examined for believing them. And she also insults them by saying they don't know the time of day, they don't even know what day of the week it is. What gives them the idea that they could create a monster? And then she gets upset that she lost again. And then basically then it goes back into where the Rangers are having the basketball game, and afterward, Zach beats Jason in basketball, and then Billy challenges Zach to another game of basketball, and the stakes is basically loses by lunch for 2. And then afterward, Billy does this little bit of a slam dunk after he says something about his move that he's gonna use. And after that, that's kind of where this episode stops. So if you guys like this video on YouTube today when I post it, just please give it the real best you guys can, and I'll see you probably not Friday, but maybe sometime either Saturday or Sunday for the next video. So until then, guys, like I always tell you with this series, may the power protect you always.